Righted himself, had plenty of time, took his time, low throw, but in time for the twin killing. Boy, that helps with this guy coming to the plate.
That does. There's big Cliff McIntosh. He singled back in the first. Big left-handed hitter wears 44, and the first pitch, swing and a miss by McIntosh. It's the top of the bat. He liked that one and just simply missed it. 2 down here in the third for Rend Lake. They lead 2-1. Pitch is low, right in front of the plate, so the count runs to 1-1 for Cliff McIntosh.
Cliff out of Clay City, big left-handed hitter. Been on base all 5 times today.
Pitch from Markey on the outside corner for strike 2.
I think McIntosh in the last 2 years, he's got to be hitting somewhere around 700 against this Falcon pitching staff.
Pitch from Markey outside. McIntosh was set to take a big swing at that one, but the pitch was too far outside for him to take a swing at. 2-2, 2 down here, top of the third. Just a pitch to McIntosh. It's a little nubber down the first baseline over by the Rend Lake dugout.
Good pitch on 2-2. That's the only thing he could have done with that ball was fouled off. Breaking pitch down and in on him. And he chopped it foul.
McIntosh has the stance like he's going to pull everything down the first baseline. Now he gets back in, pitches outside. Full count.
Mac doubled twice in the first game. Both of them down the left field line, went the opposite way, so he can put that ball in any part of the park.
There's the pitch, ground ball down the first baseline. Cantwell fields it cleanly, tags the base, and that's all for the Rend Lake Warriors in the top half of the third inning. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left on base. And after 2.5 from Falcon Field, it's Rend Lake 2, SIC 1.
Pretty good ball game so far here in the nightcap. First one, Rend Lake scored 5 runs in the third inning and went on to defeat McMurray and the SIC Falcons in that one 8-1. Warriors jumped on top, 2 runs in the first inning. SIC came back on an RBI double by Dave Cantwell. It's a 2-1 ball game going to the bottom of the third inning. Here's Melsheimer to lead it off.
Melsheimer reached in the first inning for SIC at a ground ball to the first baseman, Chad Weiss, and Weiss fell over the base. Melsheimer reached, takes the first pitch for a ball, and the second pitch faked the bunt and takes ball 2. Dave Melsheimer from Wilmette, Illinois, left-handed hitter.
Played well today.
And it's a high fly ball into right field. Right fielder goes back, makes the catch. So a long fly out for Dave Melsheimer, and he's the first out here in the bottom of the third for SIC, facing left-hander Bobby Beard. And the Rend Lake pitching staff, with a 1.61 ERA coming into today, is keeping that just as low in both halves of the doubleheader. Ridner let up only 1 in the first ball game, and Beard has let up only 1 run here in the first 2 and a third for Rend Lake. Neil Volkman digs in and takes the first 2 pitches inside for balls. 2-0 to Neil Volkman. Volkman 1 for 3 in the first ball game. There's the pitch from Beard. Line drive down the third baseline, and a great play by Bob Neff. Volkman jumped on that ball in a line drive about eye high of Bob Neff. He put the glove up and just barely kept it in the glove hand. He shakes his hand there.
One of the reasons they call it the hot corner.
So Volkman got everything on the ball, but Neff got the glove on it, and out number 2, ground ball to the shortstop. Here's Dressler, a long throw, and Cantwell's out, so 3 up and 3 down quickly for the Falcons in the bottom half of the third inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left after 3 from Falcon Field. Rend Lake 2, SIC 1. top half of the fourth inning for the Rend Lake Warriors. That'll be Brian Eder. And then we'll have Bobby Beard and Bob Ness. First pitch from Steve Markey is low for a ball. Rend Lake with a 16-1 record here in the fall campaign, lead the conference. Timeout is called by Chuck Valier as the batter stepped out. SIC currently in third place in the conference. 11-6 record now after chopping the first ball game here 8-1 to the league leading Rend Lake Warriors. They're 16-1 on the season. Brian Eder takes a pitch outside for a strike, or on the outside corner for a strike. 1-1. Rend Lake 2-1 lead here, top half of the fourth, trying for a sweep here at Falcon Field. Hard ground ball off Dave Melsheimer's cheek. Melsheimer is down, a single for Eder. SIC coach Dave Montford comes out. The ball took a wicked bounce off Melsheimer's cheek into left field. Eder is on with a base hit. So with a timeout on the play, we'll be back in 60 seconds. Steve Melsheimer is up, and he'll be back to resume action at the shortstop position. He's okay at short. And Bobby Beard steps in. First pitch, he tries to bunt. Throw from Oaks to second base as Eder steals second base, nobody covering. Baconheister broke in off the playing third to field the bunt of Beard. Oakson simply threw the ball to second base. Volkman and Melsheimer, neither one were covering. And Brian Eder is on with a stolen base at second. Bobby Beard is the hitter. He's replaced Chad Weiss in the batting order for Rend Lake. Weiss, of course, went out in the first inning as he fell over first, and he's got an ankle injury. Beard bunts the ball high. Now it's going to be fielded by Markey. He tags Beard as he runs to first. Rick Strickland, who is in to run for Eder, stays at second. So Rend Lake now with one down and a runner at second. Beard's bunt was in the air, so Strickland had to hold at second. Markey fielded the ball and tagged out Bobby Beard as he was running to first. So we have one down here on the fourth and a runner at second base. And that'll bring up Bob Ness. First pitch is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Bob Ness, the third baseman. He was 2 for 4 in the first ball game with a homer. His only time at the plate here in game 2. He grounded out to short. Pitch to Ness, pop up. Baconheister calls for it, makes a basket catch. Strickland holds at second, so a pop-up about 10 feet to the left side of the plate in fair territory. Dennis Baconheister, the third baseman, makes the catch, and we have 2 down now in the fourth inning. Strickland holding at second base, and that'll bring up left-handed hitting Jimmy Carlson. Carlson 1 for 4 with an RBI in the first ball game, and here in game number 2, his only time at bat, he grounded out to Dave Melsheimer. First pitch to Carlson, ball low. Jimmy Carlson, left-handed hitter. Second pitch is high for ball 2. Tom Geiger is on deck, the left fielder for Rend Lake. Steve Markey on the mound, the right-hander, a freshman from Palatine, Illinois, came into the contest with an ERA of 3.52, a record of 3-1. He'd struck out 23 and walked 15 in 30 and 2/3 innings. Pitch to Carlson, foul ball. Down the left field line over by the SIC dugout. So the count goes to 2-1 on Jimmy Carlson. Carlson came into today's doubleheader hitting .314, no home runs and 3 RBIs, left-handed hitter. Pitch from Markey is outside to run the count to 3-1. Carlson from Pinckneyville. A lot of southwestern Illinois ball players here on the Rend Lake Club. Out of Ina. Pitch from Markey is outside, so Carlson draws a walk. So Rend Lake will have runners at first and second and 2 down. And Tom Geiger will be the hitter. Geiger singled back in the second inning. He was 1 for 3 in the first ball game for Rend Lake. Left-handed hitter. Geiger from Highland, Illinois. First pitch from Steve Markey is low. Nice defensive play from catcher Tony Oakes. Cantwell is playing first and deep for SIC. Neil Volkman is at second. Dave Milsheimer, the shortstop, and Dennis Baconheister at third. Tony Oakes, the catcher. Pitch from Markey, a strike call. 1-1, 2 down here in the fourth. Rend Lake clinging to a 2-1 lead. In the second ball game, they took the first ball game 8-1. Mike Murray got the loss for the Falcons. Doug Ridner, a good pitching performance, went all the way for Rend Lake. Pitch from Markey to Geiger is low. 2-1 the count to left-handed hitting Tommy Geiger, left fielder for Rend Lake. Markey checks the sides. There's the pitch. Popped up in the infield. Milsheimer calls for it and makes the play. So for Rend Lake in the fourth inning, they had no runs on 1 hit, 2 men left on base, and after 3.5 from Falcon Field, it's Rend Lake 2, SIC 1. We're back at Falcon Field, bottom half of the fourth inning, and Dennis Baconheister steps in. He'll be the leadoff hitter for the Falcons in the fourth inning. Bobby Beard back to the mound, the chunky left-hander. 2.45 ERA coming into today's contest and a 2-0 record, and he's pitched pretty well here in the first 3 innings. Baconheister takes the first pitch for a ball outside. Baconheister 0 for 3 in the first ball game. He walked and stole second in his only plate appearance back in the first here in game number 2. Pitch from Beard, fastball off the shoulder of Baconheister, so a hit by pitch puts Dennis Baconheister on at first. And that'll bring up Tony Oakes, the catcher for the Falcons. Beard came inside that time with a fastball off the shoulder of Baconheister. He had no way of getting out of the way of that one. And he's on first. Tying run at first for the Falcons, and in steps Tony Oakes. Oakes 1 for 3 in the first ball game. He struck out in the first in his only plate appearance. Pitch, he bunts the ball down the first baseline. This is going to be a tough play for Beard. Quickly gets it over to first baseman Cliff McIntosh for the out, but the sacrifice works, and Baconheister is at second base now for the Falcons. And Rick Cameron from Evansville, the center fielder for the Falcons, steps in. He was 0 for 3 in the first ball game. He has a single here in game number 2 and his only plate appearance, so tying run and moves to second base now for Dave Montfort's ball club, and in steps Rick Cameron. Right-handed hitter. First pitch from Beard. Swing and a miss by Cameron. Ryan Gray steps in at the on-deck circle for the Falcons. 2-1 here, bottom half of the fourth. Falcons with a runner at second and 1 down. 1 strike to Cameron. Here's the pitch from Beard. High fly ball into center field. Center fielder moves back, makes the catch. Baconheister is going to tag, draws a throw, but he is going to be standing up at third. So Cameron hits the fly ball to center field. Humiston make the catch, but Baconheister easily tags and goes to third. And that brings up Ryan Gray. Ryan Gray into a fielder's choice back in the second inning. He was 0 for 3 in the first ball game. Right-handed hitter from El Dorado. Takes the first pitch high and outside for a ball. Mike Murray is on deck for the Falcons. Baconheister at third, 2 down. Pitch is a pop-up right over behind second base, rather, and the play is made by Rick Gaby running into center field, so the Falcons leave a runner on base, no hits, no runs, and 1 man left on base. After 4 from Falcon Field, Ren Lake still leads 2-1. We're ready for the 5th there at Falcon Field in the second ball game. Ren Lake still clinging to a 2-1 lead, and Steve Markey heads to the mound for the Falcons. The first 3 hitters for Ren Lake will be the leadoff hitter, Joe Humiston, and he'll be followed by Rick Gaby and Tim Dressler. Falcons left a runner on third there. The tying run, they still trail here now as we go to the 5th by the score of 2-1. Humiston has 1 hit here and 2 plate appearances in game number 2. He pops up right by the pitcher's mound. Baconheister comes over and makes the play for out number 1. So Steve Markey gets Joe Humiston to lead off the 5th inning with a pop-up right by the pitcher's mound. Baconheister made the play, and we have 1 down. That'll bring up Rick Gaby. Gaby reached on an error by Neil Volkman in the first, and he singled back in the third, so he's 1 for 2. He was 2 for 5 in the first contest, in which Ren Lake won it by the score of 8-1. Steve Markey, the right-handed freshman for SIC, puts the pitch over, and we have another pop-up. Neil Volkman calls for it and makes the catch, so 2 straight pop-ups here in the infield. And 2 down here for Ren Lake in the 5th, and Tim Dressler comes to the plate. Dressler, the shortstop for Ren Lake, 1 for 4 in the first ball game, and hit a sacrifice fly to right field, and picked up an RBI back in the first, and hit into a double play on a line drive which Volkman caught, and quickly threw to Cantwell for the double play back in the third. So Dressler steps in. First pitch to him by Steve Markey, curveball high. 2 down in the 5th. Ren Lake leads at 2-1. Dressler from Waltonville. Pitch is high for ball 2. Two and out to Tim Dressler, 2 down in the 5th. There's the pitch for Markey, foul back to the screen. So the count will go to 2-1. In the Major League Baseball National League race today, Montreal beat the Cardinals by the score of 7-5, while the Mets were winning in extra innings over Pittsburgh by the score of 9-7. Pitch for Markey is high, 3-1.